Arkansas Diamonds, let's dance. Now meet the middle and make two stars. One like Venus, one like Mars. Now trade those stars and keep on moving. Trade them back. Stay with the beat, shuffle them feet. Now star promenade and keep on walking round the town. Your left foot up and your right foot down. Now spread that star way out wide. Gents, walk out with wrap around and the girls star right. Now back out, give her a spin and circle left. Find that beat, shuffle them feet. Now all four couples go right and left through. Now lean to the right, cross trail to your corner, Allemande left in the Alamo style and balance there. Swing through, 2x2 and balance there. Now left swing through and Alamo spin chain through. Boys, star right. Find your corner, do an Allemande left and promenade. Back out, circle left. Now all four couples go right and left through. Now crazy eight, go! Circle left. Now Allemande left, promenade, and don't stop. Keep on walking with the one you got. Now head couples, wheel around. You've got lines. Now zip to the middle and back. Pass through, wheel and deal. Double pass through. First couple go left, next go right. Now single circle half, rare back, star through. Do it again. Load your boat. Sink or float. Save the children and save that goat. Now step to a wave and relay the doozy. Linear cycle. Slide through. Touch a corner. Follow your neighbor. Spread, Fred. Boys run right. Couples trade. Promenade and don't stop. Keep on walking with the one you've got. Now go red hop. Pull your partner by. Turn the right hand lady to the right. Partner left all the way around to the corner. Turn her by the right. Partner left. And roll promenade. When you get home, give her a swing. All eight to the middle with a great big yell. Circle. Walk around that corner, girl, seesaw of your own. All join hands, circle to the left, go walking around, you know. Men start with a ride in the middle and you roll it around and then Allemande left that corner, girl, now weave around that ring. There's 5 pounds possum in my headlights tonight. Swing that girl around and promenade tonight. Oh, that possum gravy, oh, what a wonderful sight. There's 5 pounds possum in my headlights tonight. Well, those heads promenade, take her head around you go. Down middle square, 2 4 hands round you know. Go all the way around now, touch 1/4 there. Scoot back, boy run in, boy run around that girl again. Star through, pass through, trade by and swing. Swing that corner, girl, now promenade the ring. All that possum gravy, oh, what a wonderful sight. There's 5 pounds possum in my headlights tonight. Heads promenade, take her head around you go. Down middle square, 2 4 hands round you know. Go all the way around now, touch 1/4 there. Scoot back, boy run in, boy run around that girl again. Star through, pass through, trade by and swing. Swing that corner, girl, promenade the ring. Well, that possum gravy, oh, what a wonderful sight. There's 5 pounds possum sides, face grand square. My children are hungry, my dog needs a bone. I ain't got no job, I'm just driving home. It's dark and it's dusty, what a wonderful sight. There's 5 pounds possum in my headlights tonight. 4 ladies promenade, go one side that ring. Get back, swing your honey, promenade, I sing. All that possum gravy, oh, what a wonderful sight. There's 5 pounds possum in my headlights tonight. Sides promenade, take her half around you go. Down the middle square, through 4 hands round you know. All the way around now, touch 1/4 there. Scoot back, boy, run in. Boy, around that girl again. Star through, pass through, trade by and swing. Swing that corner, girl, now promenade the ring. All that possum gravy, oh, what a wonderful sight. There's 5 pounds possum in my headlights tonight. Sides promenade, take her half around you go. Down the middle square, do 4 hands round you know. All the way around now, touch 1/4 there. Scoot back, boy, run in. Boy, around that girl again. Star through, pass through, trade by and swing. Swing that corner, girl, promenade the ring. All that possum gravy, oh, what a wonderful sight. There's 5 pounds possum in my headlights tonight. 4 boys promenade, go one side that ring. Get back, swing your honey, round and round I sing. All joint hands, circle left, go walking around and then. Now the man left that corner, girl, now promenade that ring. There's 5 pounds possum in my headlights tonight. If I can run him over, everything will be alright. Oh, that possum gravy, oh, what a wonderful sight. There's 5 pounds possum in my headlights tonight. Ladies and gentlemen, the Arkansas Diamonds! Give a big hand!
Hello, I'm Shannon Caine. Welcome to the Caine Interviews. Today we'll be visiting with Ruth and Tony Wind. They're from a square dancing group called the Arkoma Whirlaways. This group is quite active, dancing in the Arkansas-Oklahoma area. We'll be discussing the art of square dancing and how people can become involved in this activity regionally. Ruth and Tony, welcome to the show. How long have you been involved in square dancing?
Well, I danced my first square dance better than 60 years ago. Since that time, after we got married, well, we continued going to an occasional old-fashioned type of square dance until about 15 years ago when we really took lessons and became involved in club-type modern square dancing.
Mm-hmm. Where is your square dance club located?
We dance in St. Mary's Recreation Hall in Siloam Springs.
Okay. How long has your club been together?
35 years.
Wow. Okay. Now, is your group open to the public? Can just anyone come in and learn to square dance?
That's a little more complicated than that. To just come in and square dance, you should have had taken lessons, because it is all based on what you learn in the square dance lessons. But once you have the lessons, you can go almost anywhere in the world where there is square dancing and dance, because it's always called in English.
Okay. Now, your group does modern square dancing. How does that differ from regular square dancing?
Well, regular square dancing, or as they used to call it, barn dancing, had its early days in the pioneer movements. They needed something after the long journeys across the country in their covered wagons. They needed something to relax and also some kind of a social outlet, so they began to do some of the various types of reels and other dances. And finally, it evolved into what became known as barn dancing or square dancing. Recently, well, 50 years ago, a movement was started to sort of codify the square dancing. They took all of the calls that various callers were calling all over the country, put them all together, ran them through, and set up a sort of a dictionary of calls so that all callers that belonged to the organization would call the same dance, teach the same dance to everybody the same way, and that's why we can go almost anywhere and square dance.
But we don't always dance the same way. The calls might be there, but every caller mixes up the calls in his own fashion. So every caller you dance with, you're dancing. You have to pay attention because you're dancing
See, the
a
old
little
time,
different.
the older type of square dancing was more figurative in that once you started the dance, you knew everything from the beginning of it to the end. The modern square dance, you have no idea what the caller's going to call. You know the calls, and when he calls them, you do them.
Okay. And in modern square dancing, do you use more contemporary music?
Almost any kind of music you can imagine.
Even gospel.
Wow. So it's not just the old country and western music, but it's all different
Yeah.
sorts. So you could square dance to Elvis if you
Oh,
Oh,
yeah.
we do.
Okay.
Oh, yeah. Pink Cadillac's one of our favorites.
Okay. Now, is square dancing primarily an American art form? I mean, do people in other countries square dance?
Square dancing is an American art form, but wherever the military has been, square dancing has followed. Square dancing is always called in English. We've danced with people from Japan who could hardly speak any English. They never missed a call, and it was all in English.
How neat. Okay. How family friendly is square dancing? Can you bring the kids?
Oh, yes.
Okay.
Oh,
And
yes.
can small children learn to square dance?
We've seen square dancers as young as 2.
Wow.
You go down to the fair in Prairie Grove and you'll see young square dancers. They have clubs, but they do competitive square dancing. And ours is just for fun.
Okay, so you're not involved really in any sort of competition?
No.
Okay.
No, we dance for fun.
All right. What if a person doesn't really know how to dance? Could he or she take up square dancing?
At lessons?
Definitely.
Oh, definitely, yes.
Most
And so
people
you-
say I have 2 left feet, but you know that's you can manage.
Okay, so so if somebody showed up at your club, the lessons are available to them.
We have lessons in September.
In
most
September.
most clubs will start their lessons in September,
Okay.
and they're graduated mid-December as a graduate dancer.
Okay. Okay. And so once you become a graduate dancer, you could go to a club, say in Tulsa or someplace else, and you could get involved in one of
Oh,
their
yes.
Oh,
dances,
definitely.
and you'd know what to do.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, we travel as far as Tulsa to dance
Okay.
on occasion.
Okay. And we were talking before the show came on about conventions. You had mentioned going as far off as Baltimore or to San Antonio and places like that. So, so it keeps you moving. Huh?
Yes,
It
that's
sure
a national
does.
convention. There's one every year,
Okay.
and there are state conventions
All right.
also,
District
and
festivals.
district festivals.
Okay. So there's a lot of activity.
There's a lot of activity,
Okay.
as involved as you want to be.
Okay. Is there, what about the Arkansas State Convention? Is that something coming up, or has it already occurred?
They just had theirs in Fort Smith last week.
That's right. Okay, in Fort Smith. Okay. Now, you're wearing your costumes, and I was going to ask, are special costumes required for dancing with your club?
Not usually.
No.
Okay.
Well, our club, if you came in ordinary street dress and you wanted to dance, that'd be fine. But there are a few clubs that insist upon clothes, but
Well, special clothes, not just
special
clothes.
clothes, right.
Okay.
But there are several different styles of clothes. Our club happens to use the real fancy dress. A lot of clubs are going back to the old-fashioned prairie dress. The men almost always wear long-sleeve shirts.
Okay. Is there a special name for the costumes that you wear, or
No.
it's just
They're
square dancing?
Just square dance
Okay.
clothes. We wear a
Okay.
fancy petticoat under it and what we call petty pants in case our skirts
Right.
fly up.
Okay.
But a lot of women are more comfortable in the longer skirts.
Okay. Would you say that square dancing is a good form of exercise?
It's fabulous. You square dance 2.5 hours a night. That's 2 tips with a rest period and then 2 more tips. You've walked the equivalent of 5 miles.
5 miles. Wow. So if somebody's looking for exercise, you need look no further.
That's true, because we round dance or line dance in between the square dance tips. So normally you can be moving the whole night that you're there in most clubs.
Okay, so when you square dance, is not just square dancing. You could have the line dancing also. And you mentioned round dancing. What is that?
Again, it's a call to dance, and
Okay.
it's done in a circle with your partner.
Okay.
And there again, you have to take lessons for that because that's a called
Oh, okay, and
form
so
of dancing.
and that's kind of a whole different thing.
Yeah, it's a whole different thing.
Okay. Are a lot of people in this particular area involved in square dancing?
Not as much as there
Not
used
as
to be,
much
we're
as
sorry
it
to
used
say.
be. There's approximately, within 100 miles here, there's approximately 50, 60 clubs.
Wow.
And they range in anywhere from maybe 20, 25 members up to almost 100.
Wow.
So we dance normally with about eight clubs. Of course, we only belong to the one, but we go to the rest of them on visitations, and we dance 3, 4,
3, 4 nights,
sometimes 5 nights a
depending.
week.
Wow. Okay. And so you once you learn the steps and stuff, and you're in a club, you can go and just visit other
Any
clubs
place you want to go.
at will. Okay.
And it's great because if you're traveling, we have a directory.
A national directory.
And with telephone numbers that you can call. So you can go, you're in a motel room and you want to do something, so you find out if there's a club dancing and you can go dance.
How neat.
Instead of just sitting there.
There are a few closed clubs across the country that, well, you wouldn't want to be, unless you happen to be of that particular ilk, you wouldn't want to go to some of those clubs.
Okay.
Like there are 1 or 2 gay clubs.
Right. I've heard about some of
So they're always
they're-
marked as
they're
being
marked
closed
in the
clubs in
books,
the
yeah.
directory, so
Oh, I
you
see.
avoid those.
And there are
Okay.
some clubs also who just are closed clubs. They don't want anybody else there but their own group,
them. Okay.
which is very unusual. But you had
Yeah.
asked earlier something, and I meant to interject. I'm sorry. Anyone who would like to come and just watch any of the clubs dance, they're welcome. There is no. We pay a fee when we go into a club to dance, and there is no fee for somebody who just wants to come and sit and enjoy the dancing. And maybe they would enjoy. They're welcome to. We all have buffets of some sort, so there's always something to eat, and they're all welcome.
Oh, okay. So if somebody was thinking about maybe taking up square dancing, just wasn't quite sure yet and wanted to see what it was all about, they could show up at a club and just kind of be wallflowers. They could
Right.
just kind of stay
We
back
highly
there.
encourage it.
Yeah. Okay. So so this is a pretty open kind
Oh,
of
yes.
thing, and just open and friendly and
I certainly
and
hope so.
welcoming. Okay.
Well, what our motto is friendship set to music.
Oh, that's nice. Yeah. Okay. So, and it sounds like you're doing a good job of, being open about it and inviting the public in. And okay, I was wondering, is square dancing an expensive hobby to take up?
Well, like most any hobby, you can spend as little as you want or as much as you want.
Okay.
The clothing has a tendency to be a little expensive, but
Right.
you don't really need it.
Well, many of us older types sew,
Oh, okay. Yeah.
and I made this dress.
Wow.
One petticoat is really all you need if you decide to go with the shorts. Skirts, a white petticoat will go with anything. And white. We prefer long sleeves on the men, but that's,
One thing we would recommend is a good pair of dancing
dancing
shoes.
shoes.
Ah. Okay. So.
You find sneakers don't slide on most floors. I'm wearing sneakers today because I'm walking on concrete and things, and I don't like to use my dancing shoes for that.
I see. Okay. What do you like the most about square dancing?
Friendship,
The people we've met,
exercise.
Yeah.
we have gone to many of the national conventions, and you may not know people by name, but after a while you recognize faces. It's just nice to know a lot of people because we didn't know anybody here at all when we moved here, and it was through square dancing that we've made many, many friends.
Wow. Okay.
And it also keeps your mind very
Active.
alert and active.
Yes, because you've got to pay it. We have a gentleman in our club who's 87 who still dances very
Wow.
well.
Okay. So yeah, you have to have you have to be on the ball to some extent to get what the color's throwing at you.
Yes.
Okay. So we've already actually kind of covered this, but I'll just kind of ask again. Does your club provide a really friendly environment for total beginners?
We
Oh,
hope
yes.
so.
Yeah, okay. So just anybody that's curious about it can just come in and check it out.
Yes.
Okay. And if one decided to take lessons, is that very expensive?
Usually we give the first lesson for free.
Okay.
And then after that, it depends on the particular club. They normally run about $2-3 a lesson.
Oh, okay.
And there's a series of about 16 lessons. By the time you've taken the 16 lessons, you've been through the basics and the mainstream, and you can dance about anywhere.
Okay, so now if you went, okay, so let's say that you've paid for your first set of lessons, and you start going to other clubs. When you go to a club to dance, as you guys do, how much is it then per dance, would you say?
It varies according to the club, and sometimes according to the level of the caller. A good caller is going to attract more people, and it might be a little more expensive. But normally, it runs anywhere from about $5 to $10 per night for a couple.
And that's 2.5 hours of dancing plus a food table.
Sure.
That's
So
set out.
so you get a meal thrown
And
in
all
with
those
that.
people that you're meeting and talking to.
Oh yeah, well it definitely sounds worth the price of admission. And what would you say to someone who might be curious about learning to square dance but just hasn't really had the nerve to try it yet?
Hey, none of us were born knowing how to square dance. Even a bird has to be taught how to fly.
Okay, so so you're just once again, with that motif of being welcoming to beginners, somebody should just come on out and give it a shot.
You never know until you try it.
And
Okay.
all of the clubs in the area put out information before their lessons start. And most of them, as I said, do start in September for lessons. And anytime you see it on the paper or on the television running screen or something like that, just jot down the date. Go find out what it's all about.
Okay. Well, thanks so much. And that's about all the time we have today on the Caine Interviews. I'm Shannon Caine. Thanks for watching.
Spin your top. Boy, it's a violent tune. Turn that door to Lady Caine. Turn that door keeper. Right, go walking around the ring. I'm wonder and I my man's all gone. Well, the brush is over and the square dance is on. 2, 3, 4, get square to the line for hours. Climbing over with a seat over. It's way through now, boy, run around her. This Ferris wheel down the middle of the ring. When time is gold and you pass through, start through, square through 3. Swing on the girl is running. I'm wondering, diner, my money's all gone. Well, the rush is over and the square dance is on. 2, 3, 4, 4 ladies promenade, go walking round the ring. Back over again and then swing, swing, swing. Don't look at circle to let them go. Let them magic on the way, ready to go. We'll find we get in and out around the ring. Go to beat that grass, swing, promenade, go. I'm wondering, diner, my money's all gone. Well, the rush is over and the square dance is on. 2, 3, 4, outside square through the house. Oh, and go, find that part.